Okay, take a look at this image. I'm going to zoom in on this image because there's a couple questions I have on what's going on here. If I can, there we go. What are those lines in the background? It looks as though you tried to Photoshop the lines out of there, and that is something we do not want to see. No corrections like that in the images, because if I was out in the field and I was standing next to you, where I drove up as a former editor, this has happened. I would go out in the field, and this happened to me as a photographer. You'd be shooting, shooting, shooting. You're on the scene. Somebody comes up and says, "Hey, give me your cards. We have to go right to deadline." And if you didn't shoot it right in the camera, I probably would have been out of a job. But you cannot use Photoshop like this, and if you're going to do Photoshop, you should not be able to see any of the cloning that I see here, as we do in this image. There's just way too much going on. I mean, looking at it like this, fine, but I start to see the lines in there, and I'm wondering what is going on. If you're going to do work with Photoshop, you need to enlarge it in this manner so you don't see all this. You need to work in that magnification. When I would use Photoshop, I mean, I'd be zooming in somewhere in here to work on my images. And then when you reduce it, you don't see that. And also like I said in the last review, it looks like you lessen the contrast in these images. Things seem a little different. The levels seem off. The blacks are gray. The colors are off, and it doesn't seem correct in that manner. Looking here, if I enlarge this, we can still see, it looks like there's still wires going through here. As you can see, there's still a few remnants of them in the image. You can still see the wires in there, and that's something you do not want to show when you're shooting. And you can see this, we lost a lot of contrast in the image. So you need to work with your flash. You need to work more with the aperture, ISO, your settings. You need to really work on this. The subject matter could work, but you need to put more effort into the technical aspects of this as far as shooting here. Now you're at f16. Why you shot at f16, I don't know. Because you could have used a much wider aperture and blurred that background out a little bit rather than having everything so crisp. So use your aperture to your advantage. Don't use it as a disadvantage. When you have the ability to blur the background, take it. That's what we want to see. You want to concentrate on the subject. You don't want to concentrate on the background. So that's some of the things that you really need to work on with this. So please don't use Photoshop like that. Again, it's not allowed. You're only allowed to use for levels, dodge, and burn. The same things that you would be utilizing in the darkroom when you're just doing your basic darkroom work. Advanced Photoshop is in a different class, so do that when you're cloning and stuff in the other class. For now, please don't use that, and I would work on utilizing the basic skills of aperture, shutter, and ISO when I'm shooting.